In my last video, we talked about hip bursitis as one of the most misdiagnosed conditions and why injections, massage, and even strengthening rarely solve the problem. Today, we're going to talk about the next step. I'm going to show you exactly how to fix the real causes behind bursitis diagnosis, the mobility problems, the muscle imbalances, the back issues, and the compensation patterns that put all the pressure on your TFL and deep hip rotators. When you fix these root issues, your hip stops hurting, your glutes finally start to fire, and you can stop chasing symptoms. So let's go through each of the problem areas and the exact exercises that help you solve it. So if you ever follow me with any video that we do, we always say mobility before stability. Because if you physically can't move, you're not going to be able to fire your muscles correctly. You're going to compensate by shifting your weight to the outside because you can't move that hip. So you will go around it by shifting your weight, which makes you really use these muscles on the outside of the hip that creates a lot of hip pain, where the doctors call it hip bursitis. And so if you don't solve those problems, you are just treating a symptom. And so there's a lot of different areas that we have to look at that can create decreased hip mobility. And the first one, the one that we always refer to first, is the back. The back produces 50% of hip issues that are happening, and you have to solve that first, because whether you have a mobility issue in your hip that's coming from the back that the back can solve, you also can have pain that refers into that hip that doesn't allow your muscles to fire correctly. And so we have to solve these problems. And so the first place is always starting with the back. And so the biggest things most of the time, again, when you come in, we evaluate you and we look at so many different pieces, but these are just the general ones that we find. So if some of these things are not helping, it's because you need an evaluation to really fine tune what it is. Like anything else, if you get a coach, they're going to identify it really quickly and help you get through things much faster than if you try to do it on your own. And so that's where we're here to help, really with the more specific things. But these are general things that really do help and things that we look at all the time. So with the back, the majority of the time, the back is, because we do 4,000, 5,000 bending forward, sitting, those kind of activities all throughout the day, we just need to reverse that direction. If your back can't move in this direction, then guess what? That hip's going to try to move and the back can't extend because they really need the motion together to get it. You're not going to get those glutes to fire. You're going to shift your weight to use those outside of those hips. So you can go and take this, what we do all the time, those little like noodles, and we just cut them up so you get a little bit of firmness, and then you'll roll it up in a towel. So it makes it a little bit more firm, but it's still softer than like a foam roller. And so a lot of times you can do things like this. So what you'll do is you're going to stick this in your back, kind of low part of the back, and you're going to lie backwards over it. Now you can go and bring your legs up, and then you're just going to want to like tilt that pelvis down to really get a good stretch through that lower back. If this is causing the problem, you'll feel like, oh, that hurts and feels good at the same time, or it like feels like a really good stretch. A great place to start. Again, we evaluate so many different things, but this is a great place to start, is the lower back. So if you're having issues through there, it can refer pain into the hip where the hip muscles won't fire, or you'll have lack of mobility in that hip, but it's coming from your back. Either one, you have to start with the back first. So this is the first trip, and you're gonna hang out here for a good 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just to stretch that joint to improve the mobility. When you come out of it, if you do have some back stuff, you may notice that you're gonna be like, whoa, I'm just really stiff and I'm having a hard time moving and I've got to get up, and I get up. And you can start moving around, and within like probably 20 seconds, everything starts easing and it's fine. So if you notice that, don't freak out. It's totally normal. It's because you have a lot of stiffness that's there in the back, and you've been hanging out in that position for a while. So you're going to be stiff coming out of it, but the more you do it, the more that it'll loosen up, and it's going to be easy for you to pop up off of a towel roll like this. So I would recommend doing this 2 to 3 times a day, hanging out for a minute to 3 minutes to really stretch those joints. So that's the first step that we want to do. Now, you could also have thoracic spine. issues as well. So it's just something that I just want to mention, because we've had people that have had that lower part of that thoracic spine where those ribs are, it gets stuck through here. You're going to do the same thing with the towel roll, putting it up a little bit higher. If you are stuck through here, a lot of times your glutes won't fire either. So you can do the same thing. Hang out here, stretch it a little bit higher up, and just see. If you don't feel anything, like there's no tightness or anything, probably not the issue. If you're feeling like, whoa, okay, I'm kind of having a hard time breathing and it's definitely stretching, definitely have an issue, definitely want to address it. So caveat that, because that also can create issues into that hip. I know people don't believe me, but we see it all the time where they either have hip pain, it's coming from their thoracic spine, or their hip won't fire because their thoracic spine won't move. And so we've got to address that as well. Okay, number 2 from it is actually looking at the hip. So if you've gone through the back and you're still noticing that there's some issues, we've got to look at hip mobility as well. So if there's some issues there, then we've got to address it. Most of the time it's looking at it coming back. If you have less mobility going backwards, again, you're not going to be able to fire those glutes, and what you'll end up doing is shifting your weight around to like walk. You won't even notice it, or you'll stand and you'll shift your weight to the side because you're just so used to recruiting through here, which creates a lot of problems and will give you that diagnosis of hip bursitis. So a good stretch that you can do for this, I show this all the time. It's one of the stretches I do all the time when I am at the gym after working out, so that I can really just kind of open up that hip. Here, I'll do it on this side. Is you're just going to be in a kneeling position, and you're just going to kind of just kneel forward and just breathe. And you're dumping that hip forward. We're not trying to stretch, so I don't want you to tilt the pelvis and go forward so you can stretch the psoas. This is stretching the hip joint. So you just kind of want to dump into it a little bit and breathe and stretch through here. You can add some rotation and you'll notice that, like, whoa, I'm a little tight through here. Okay, cool. Hang out there for a little bit and kind of stretch that just to kind of open that hip joint up. It is super tight usually, because what do we do all the time? We're always sitting, the hip is always in this motion, and so we need to just reverse that direction to kind of open up that hip, because we always have it in a motion where it's flexed all the time. So that stretch also will really help to open up that hip joint so that we can get that motion to be able to fire the correct muscles to get you back to using everything correctly. Okay, so those are the really three mobility things you have to look at, because if you don't have the mobility, you're going to kind of go around it. So I'm going to give you another one that can limit mobility a little bit as well, and it's when you have a lot of tightness in your psoas. So what people don't realize is that psoas that comes down into that hip, if it gets tight, it pulls you forward. And again, you're going to have a hard time getting that mobility because we have some tightness in through here. Not everyone has it. Again, these are 4 different areas that can give you problems that you have to look at, and it could be one of them or it could be multiple of them, but you have to kind of look at these. So your psoas can come up here, and it literally attaches into the spine, up in the front of the spine, all the way up the lumbar spine into where your diaphragm is. And so you can have tightness all up and through there, and if you do, you're going to have a hard time getting those glutes to fire, as well, giving you issues in that hip on the outside, or even lower on that lower part of the hip, because you just can't use the muscles the way they need to be. So we want to release them, and then we want to get them to start firing again. So I'm going to show the release, and I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that you can do to start getting your muscles to fire. So first one, you're going to take it, and this is just like a roller thing. So I just use the tip of it, because what I want to do is I want to drive it in. So you're breathing and you're going deep. And then I can just kind of move this around to kind of get some release. And you're going to be kind of central and just kind of see central and lower where you might have some problems. And so you're just driving it and using the tips to kind of release the tightness that is in through there. Again, if there's tissue that is stuck through there, you're gonna have a hard time moving that hip to get the correct muscles to kind of fire. So you'll just kind of work through there and you're gonna feel like it feels like a brick wall, and it will not be comfortable. If you're pushing this in and you're feeling some tightness, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I can totally feel that. So we've got to get that to release first. So using we use stuff like this all the time to teach people how to do it, because you can hit it in a lot of different areas. The problem with some of the psoas release, that it only works in one area. Well, guess what? It comes all the way up. You're not going to be able to hit it in some of those areas. So this works really well. Most people have something that they can use to release this. Now, a great exercise you can do to start getting that lower abdominal stuff to fire once you release it is you can put your hands behind your hips. And what you'll do is you'll come up here. So the hands behind your hips are going to help kind of stabilize that pelvis. So you don't have to worry about that. Your hands are going to help stabilize that so you can really focus on the muscle activation. And then all you're going to do is push one leg out and touch nice and slow and then come back in. And then same kind of thing. Do the same thing on the other side. You're just kind of eccentrically loading that lower part of the abdominal muscles, and you want to feel it in through here. So when you go in, you want to kind of notice, you want to bring that belly button down and in to kind of feel it, not like you're forcing your hips into like flexion. You're just drawing the belly button in. So as I kind of draw the belly button in, I'm holding here through my pelvis, and I'm going to just reach the leg out and then come back in. You can do the same thing, reach it out straight and then come back in. And as you come in, you're really wanting to like, almost like you're trying to pull that leg back in with those lower abdominals. You want to feel it down low. If you're not feeling it down low, then there's issues. We need to work on it. We either need to give you an exercise that's a little bit easier, or we need to work out some adhesions and things that are happening in that abdominal region. So that is the next thing that you can do. So once we get everything moving, now we want to get things firing. And so you always, is the last phase that we do. So if all the mobility looks good and the hips aren't firing, then you just go to this phase. But if you go to this phase of getting those glutes to fire and your back's not moving, your hip's not moving, your thoracic spine's not moving, you have adhesions or something in your deep abdominal wall, then you are going to have problems getting these muscles to fire and it won't work. And all you'll do is keep on compensating. So you have to look at all these 4 things first before we can get you moving into doing exercises to get these glutes to fire. So I'm going to show you a couple of exercises that you can do. So the first one is you're going to move these out of the way. Single leg, and you're going to like push this foot down. So it's like you're taking the single leg, I'll do it on this leg, and you're pushing this heel down, but it doesn't actually move. So you're pushing the heel down into the box as you lift up and squeeze the glute. So you're really trying to get that glute to fire. A lot of times I'll go in and I'll have people hold that position, because if they can hold it, then they're going to be able to kind of feel it, because it's a muscle that has not been working for a while. So they really want to feel that connection in that lower part of that glute, and then you'll come right back down. So going and doing this really slow, holding it, and so that they can feel it about 3 to 5 seconds, and doing 10 to 15 of those so that we can really feel those glutes. It won't feel major if you haven't gotten these glutes to fire, but if you're kind of pushing down and squeezing this glute, you're going to kind of feel it in that lower part of that glute, which is what we want. So that's one way of doing it that you can get it firing. Another great way is when you have a little bit of weight, so you have to push the weight up. And you can use a box and you lift up like this. So you'll come down, and when you lift up, you're going to squeeze the glutes to come up, really squeezing those glutes. Go back down, push up, push through those heels, squeeze the glutes, and kind of, again, hold it. If you can hold it and kind of feel it, I feel the burn through those lower part of those glutes. That's what we want. We want this part of the glutes to kind of fire so that we don't use these outside parts that we're just using all the time. So those are 2 great exercises that you can do. I'll give you one more. just because we want these glutes to fire, and doing things in quadruped. So you can go in quadruped and kind of do the same thing. You can use a band, and what you're going to want to do is you're going to squeeze the glute as you kick it toward the ceiling, coming back down. Now, you can go in and kind of slightly arch the back. That'll make us not use anything in the front as you kick that leg up. So squeeze the glute, kick it up, and then come back down. So you can do these again on both sides. Squeeze the glute, come up, hold it, and then come back down, nice and slow. These exercises, I would do 10 to 15 of them because you want to go slow, methodical. You might want to hold them a little bit longer so that you can really feel it. But these are all the steps that we go through. And a lot of times there's multiple things that we have to look at. There might be a combination of things that we have to do in order to get you back. The last phase is really then, what is it that you want to get back to doing? Is it running? Is it playing soccer? Is it playing pickleball? Whatever the case may be, we have to go and do motions and fix the movement pattern there so that you're not just compensating, because your body's used to compensating. I always love to give the example of when someone's had like knee surgery and it's been a while and they're looking really good and they walk out and they're limping. And you're like, why are you limping? I'm not limping. Yes, you're limping. Do you hurt? No, I don't hurt. I go, well, that's the body's, like, what it feels like it's its normal motion, because they've been doing it for so long, they don't even realize it. So you have to get them out of that pattern in order to truly fix it. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. So you've had these patterns that you've been moving in for a long time because you've had to go around things, and we have to fix those patterns. So common things that you'll see people doing is shifting their weight to the outside so that they're using these muscles versus keeping their weight more even on the inside, making sure that they're walking and that they don't shift their weight to the outside as they're walking, that they keep their body straight as they're walking, making sure when they go through some like form, we'll look at their form and functional movements to make sure that they're feeling the muscles where they should be feeling them and not compensating and shifting their weight to the outside. So these are all things that we have to look into. And again, we see stuff like this all the time. So it's not just a diagnosis of bursitis. Bursitis is a symptom. You've got to get down to what's going on. Mobility before stability. Looking at mobility of the back, looking at mobility of the thoracic spine, looking at mobility of the hip, looking at are there any adhesions or things happening in the deep psoas or deep abdominals that's limiting you from being able to move that hip back. We've got to look at all those things first before we can get into strengthening. And then when we get those things moving, then we can move into strengthening and really getting those glutes to fire and then putting everything together functionally. So those are all the steps that we look at when someone has had the diagnosis of hip bursitis. So if you're stuck in the hip pain cycle and you've been told you have bursitis, but nothing is helping, that's a sign that the real problem hasn't been found yet. And if you want us to figure out which of these 5 issues is actually causing your pain, we have a free discovery visit where we can kind of sit down, have a conversation, understand what you've tried, what you haven't tried, ask you some questions to give you what those next steps could actually help you in solving this naturally. So comment hit below or click on the link in the description to schedule your discovery visit. Don't settle for a label. You deserve a real solution.